you for joining us once again for another one of MMM's Shenanigans. My name's Anthony, and today I'm actually going to be making mead. Now, from what I've seen online, mead is one of the oldest alcoholic beverages. It is pretty much just honey and water mixed with yeast. From the research I've done online, it looks like they found evidence as far back as 7000 BC of mead. It's even in Beowulf, they talk about the Danish warriors drinking mead as like a hero's drink. So one of the things I wanted to do is actually make some. So I already have everything here, I have everything sanitized. Now, this is my first time making mead, so I have no idea how it's going to turn out. Honestly, I'm making a small batch because it takes forever before you can actually drink it. Even the French sometimes let it age for 20 plus years. So I'm not planning on doing all that. From what I've read, it's pretty good to let it sit for about at least 8 months after it's fully done fermenting. That way it can really just meld together and you can really enjoy the flavors. Now, I'm going to be starting this today, and I'm going to be uploading the videos of the progress. Any pictures I might actually put on my Facebook page if I take any pictures of it. If y'all want to see that, y'all can always see my Facebook page. It's going to be in the link down below in the description. So for starters, I'm going to be making a 1 gallon batch, so I need about a gallon of water. The recipe I looked up said about 3 pounds of honey. I went to Costco and I bought a bunch of honey. One of the other things that I've read is that with wine, not all wines need what they call a yeast nutrient. It kind of just helps the yeast to be happy in that environment to help it keep eating the sugars, keep producing as fast as they normally would. Now with honey, to my understanding, what I've been told is that it's more of like a harsh environment. Not really sure why, but because of that, they have something called yeast nutrient. It's a little bottle like this. You can probably get it in bigger bottles, but it just helps you keep it happy. Now what they've been saying is that you're going to put about a teaspoon of this per gallon about every week. So to get started, I've already sanitized everything. My bucket's clean. Everything I'm going to use today, including the wine thief and the hydrometer and the airlock, are all sanitized 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Very simple. Add your honey. Now, you can warm this up, and it's probably what I'm going to have to do here in a minute. Obviously, the honey is a very thick substance, so it's not going to all come out really easily. What I'm going to do, I don't want to heat it up too much because then I'm going to have to let it cool down for the yeast to be put into it. If it's too hot, you can't put the yeast in. It'll actually kill the bacteria, kill the yeast itself. So I'm going to try and get most of this out with just adding water into this, so that way I can try and get it out without having to heat it up. But towards the end, I may actually have to add the last little bit of water in there, heat it up, kind of switch it around and pour it out. That way I can make sure to get all the honey out. So let me go ahead and just start by doing a little bit of that. Now I bought a purified drinking water from our local grocery store just because I didn't want to worry about trying to find purified water. We actually purchased 5-gallon jugs of water for our own drinking water, but I didn't want to have to worry about sanitizing all that and then worrying about bacteria from the person I bought it from. So I just figured I would go ahead and just buy one of these little jugs of water. It's not too much money, just, like 60 cents or something for a gallon. All right. And that doesn't seem like it's working too well. I'm going to try it one more time, see if that helps get a little bit more out. And if that does not work, I'm just going to go ahead and microwave some. Okay, it's gotten most of the honey out. Honestly, I'm not too concerned. It's 3 pounds of honey. Maybe like an ounce or two left in there, so I'm not really too concerned with that. Now, I am going to fill the rest of this up with water. And one of the biggest things about this, honey does not mix well with water. Normally, you do need a warmer substance. You can get it mixed, but what you're going to need to do is shake it a lot. Ahead and finish pouring this in here. All right. I was using the lid to hold this the sanitized product so I wouldn't have to sanitize the table, but I needed the space. So obviously if I'm going to be shaking this up, you want to make sure that it is 100% sealed, because I'm going to be shaking it a lot. Now, specifically for my bucket, there is a hole, a grommet for the airlock to go into. Make sure to cover that if you're going to do this, because you do not want honey and water spilling all over your house, all over your table, your kitchen, everywhere. That's just not good. It looks like there might actually be a leak. Nope. Looks like you're good. Taste it. That might actually be honey and water. I might need to get my money back for this bucket. It looks like this is leaking everywhere. Alright, so it actually looks like my bucket that I purchased is not properly sealed. Either the lid does not go to this bucket, or it's just not a good bucket. What I am going to do, I'm going to go ahead and finish the product because I started it already. Looks like it's going to be enough of a seal to stop like air from getting in, bacteria from getting in. Looks like when I was shaking it, I guess the rubber wasn't holding tight enough, so it let a little bit of liquid out. So instead of shaking it, I am going to go ahead and stir it up. Will not be using this again for anything like this. Or I'll be making sure to mix it in something separate and then putting it in here instead. Now, once this is fully mixed up, you're going to want to go ahead and take your wine thief. This is again to check your specific gravity reading, which is essentially showing you how much sugar is in it to know a starting point. So later on, you'll be able to check your specific gravity towards the end to know, number one, if it's fully fermented or not, and number two, to determine your alcohol content in the end. Now, there is a little bit more science behind it than that. I'm just not well versed enough to do that, to explain it. So that's mixed up really well. So we're going to go ahead and take a sample. Not a big enough sample. This is going to have to work. It's already fully sanitized, so I'm just going to go ahead and use you. I am going to have to wash and sanitize this again because I don't want the honey and water in my airlock to also have bacteria in it. So those should be good. This is just for checking a sample of specific gravity. One of the things I've mentioned before in my last video, and one of the things they tell you, is when you're measuring the hydrometer, you want to give it a little spin, because as stuff is in there, there might be some bubbles attached to it, which will help to create a fake reading, basically. A reading you don't want to worry about. So let's see here. Let's see. Where are you? Table wine. 1.8. So this is reading about a 1.82. All right, I think that sounds about right. So we're gonna go ahead and get this started. That's pretty much it. Now what I am gonna do, release all of this mead back in there, because one of the things you don't want to do, especially with a small batch, is let all of it go. Like you have, every time you take a sample for a specific gravity, you want to make sure to be able to put it back in there, which is why you make sure the inside and outside of the wine thief is fully sanitized, as well as your hands. That allows you to go ahead and get it back into the jug, so you're not losing any liquid. It's a small amount as it is. You don't want to have a smaller batch towards the end just because of that. I'm going to go ahead and set this back over here. Now I am going to go ahead and wash this because I kind of use this to fill up the wine thief, and I want to get all the honey and water out. So I'll be right back in one moment. So I've gotten the airlock sanitized once again. I'm going to go ahead and put it together. It's comprised of 3 components. Now right here you have your primary vessel, which holds water in it, and the air comes up through this center tube. The air, the pressure that the yeast releases, is going to push this little nozzle up as it releases that gas. That gas is going to push that centerpiece up. When that centerpiece hits here, what's going to happen, this is going to be filled with water. That centerpiece is going to hit the top and stop moving, which is going to force the water down to release the air bubbles out of it, and then it's going to essentially repressurize and go back to the way it was. That'll stop any bacteria from getting out, because the only time air comes in or out is when the pressure builds up and pushes it out. So there's not going to be any air going inside. So now we can go ahead and do a couple things. Number one, I'm going to go ahead and put my yeast nutrient in there. It requires 1 teaspoon of yeast nutrients. I'm going to go ahead and fill this up here. Sprinkle that around. This will help keep the yeast happy. And I have a packet of Lalvin. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's the EC1118. And this is supposed to be good to help wines. Has an alcohol tolerance of about 18%. So essentially your beverage, your wine, or your mead, whatever you're making, won't have an alcohol higher than 18% with this. But it will still get pretty high up there, and it'll be a good wine for you, or mead if you want to call it that. All right, so let's sprinkle this in there. Now, one thing I've been seeing, and actually a lot of stuff online, is a whole debate between stirring it or not. Everything I've seen says you don't have to stir it. All the instructions for everything say you don't have to stir it. It doesn't hurt it to stir. It's just not really going to make much of a difference. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to go ahead and stir it up. It'll also help get that honey stirred back up into the mix once more, because again, it's probably separating a little bit. All right, it's got the yeast nutrient in there, it's got the yeast in there, the honey and the water. So now the very last step, I'm going to go ahead and close it up. Go ahead and close this up. You know what? I'm actually going to rinse the lid off because it did spew a lot of honey water out. Give me 1 second. All right, so I am closing it up right now. All right, so that is a good secure fit. Then we have our airlock. I'm going to go ahead and fit that into the grommet here. Make sure to get it nice and snug in there. You don't want any bacteria getting in through that area. Now we're done. Now we get to wait. I want to say it said every 1 to 2 weeks I need to actually check this for a layer of, I'm not sure the proper terminology, but crud. Just, I guess, waste from the actual fermentation process, which will lay down a layer at the bottom. I'm going to be rocking it back and forth between vessels to try and make sure to clean that out, because we don't want that in there. It'll start to rot and give a bad taste to everything else. All right, everyone, so it's actually been 2 days since I started and made the mead. I'm not sure if I did something wrong. There's not really any activity going on with it right now. A couple of the problems I did run into when making it, the bucket that I bought, it doesn't seem like it was a watertight seal, because I was spinning it, trying to shake it up a little bit, just get everything mixed together in one of the parts, and it was leaking out the sides. Like, it doesn't seem like it's watertight seal. So I don't know if maybe something got into it from that and caused it not to start fermenting. I don't know if it was something else that caused the problem. Maybe I did something wrong. I'm not 100% sure right now. I know a couple things that I have seen other people doing in their processes is rehydrating the yeast, which I've been told I don't have to do, so I haven't been doing that. Maybe for me it's a little bit different. I'm going to be trying that sometime soon, so I will be uploading a video of that whenever I get around to actually making the video and making the mead. But I will be making another batch just to kind of see if it works out differently. I'm going to talk to the people that I bought the bucket from to see what's going on with that, because they sold me a bucket that's not really, doesn't have a proper seal. Anyways, I'm going to keep it there for a little bit, see what I can do to try and maybe start it up. Not really sure what I can do, but just wanted to go ahead and let y'all know any problems that I had with this, because obviously that's what this channel's for. So hopefully y'all don't run into the same problems. When I get to the store tomorrow, I'm going to see if they know anything about it and see if maybe they know of any way to get it started from what it's at, because it's been over 48 hours now. It's not doing anything. I've already checked on it. There's no fermentation. There's no bubbles. There's nothing coming off of it. Hopefully they can tell me some way to get it started, and then I can still keep it. Aside from that, I want to thank y'all so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can see new content that I do upload whenever I'm able to upload them. Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.